Heart to Heart. Real people having real conversations about things that matter most to you. I'm Sherry Elise.
I'm Cyrus Webb.
I'm Rich Osagara.
I'm Patrice Tanaka.
And we are Heart to Heart.
Yes, woo! Welcome to Heart, an interactive talk show where you send in the questions and we answer them for you. So excited to have you here with us today. If you are watching live with us or if you're watching the replay, why don't you share the love and hit share on this broadcast. We hope that you will participate today and share with us what is in your heart. For right now, make sure that you got your favorite cup of anything and join us for the conversation. So without further ado, let me introduce my awesome co-host. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Nice to see you all this week.
Yeah, always a pleasure.
Always, and a special shout out to our amazing producer who's behind the scenes, Miss Tracy Allen, which, by the way, we got a little surprise coming next week where someone may or may not be on camera. I just like gave it away.
I wonder who that is.
I know. I'm like, you're really good at secret, Sherry. So we had some great questions that came in this week, which we are going to be revealing which one is in the vault halfway through the show. So make sure that you stick around with us for that. We are going to be putting right into the comments a form where you can put in your question submission to make this nice and easy for you so we can answer your questions live on air. So what's been happening with y'all? Cyrus, what's going on with you with your little bright light?
Thank you. I'm trying to radiate a little bit, Sherry. I'm trying to match your energy, your vibe.
Oh, impossible.
One of the things for me is, I'm a pretty conservative person, which most people know. But I'm a person, one thing that gets me hyped is music. And I think we probably all have that in common in some way. I'm a person, I love music that kind of gets you excited. I'm not in love with anybody, so I don't listen to love songs or any of that stuff.
What?
but I do love music that kind of gets you up and ready for whatever. So I was sharing with you guys, there's these two sisters named Niani that I discovered last year, and they have just this amazing anthem style music, and they have this new single, Where We Rise, that I was telling you, I kind of visualized this whole scene for myself about the chips are down and like life is right now, but you get that second win and you just go on. And that kind of gets me motivated every day, and I listen to it in the beginning of the day and throughout the day, as well as other songs like that. So I was curious for you guys, do you have music that you guys listen to or enjoy that kind of gets you hype and ready for whatever's coming?
Well, before we answer that, first I want to know, what do you look like, Cyrus, when you're listening to your music in the morning?
Now, I thought this was a PG-13 show. No, I'm just joking. No, actually, it's like, by this time I'm dressed, obviously. But, I get pretty excited. I do. I jump around a lot. I do that throughout the day, too, which is probably why I have the energy I have. But, I get really into it because it's just like, it really gets me, like, hype. Gets me kind of crunk. So everyone needs a little bit of crunk in their lives, right? So that's pretty much it. It kind of really keeps my energy up and kind of going throughout the day.
That's awesome. I want to know from those who are watching for you guys to also share with us what your favorite, like, get up and go, or what gets you crunk, your songs. Put that in the comments. I'll share mine afterwards because I got quite a few. What about you, Richard Patrice?
Oh, well, let's see. I don't usually listen to music throughout the day. It's only when I want to listen to music, and then I'll just do that and not, to other things. So for a time, I've been walking my hallways during COVID to stay indoors and get my steps in. So I started listening to all of these different rap artists because I don't have a commute, so I never had time to listen to the radio. So then I started doing that, but now I'm on to audiobooks. But I guess there are certain songs that if it comes on, I have to get up and dance. And two of those songs are like, Brick House. You remember that?
Yeah,
That
of course.
song, Brick House.
Okay, 70s.
Yeah. And that's my era. I love that Brick House. And then Get Up Off of That Thing. So either of those two songs come on and I got to get up. And then when I really just want kind of a happy, it'll be like Brutta Is and It's a Wonderful World, Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And or Happy song. I love the Pharrell's song Happy. So just depends. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're getting crunk too, Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Or if I'm really mellow on a weekend, it'll be Sinatra or Ella or Sarah Vaughan, So it just depends.
Wow.
Love it. Music is a game changer for sure. And it's interesting though, because, I don't know what Rich is about to say, obviously, but Cyrus, you mentioned that it does everything for you. And for me, it does too. Like I feel fully connected to myself, to life, to like my soul when music is going and it becomes like a giant movie in my mind. Music's always been attached to me since I was a little girl. So I love any song that, depending on my mood. So like, I have a few that I play over and over again, like Christopher Cross, Ride Like the Wind. That always and especially like the dance remix version, like it just gets me going. And then really Eye of the Tiger is always great. Can't go wrong with that one. There's this great one by Missy Higgins and it's called Steer. And I listened to that on repeat for 7.5 hours when I was driving to San Francisco by myself. Cause I was in this, I'm going to connect to myself and I'm going to heal and I'm going to find direction in my life. And so it drove me literally. But it depends on the day, but I listen to it while I'm putting my makeup on in the morning. It always, always gets me going. And then Pharrell's Happy. And then wait, then there's Jason Mraz, which has this great song that's called Look for the Good. And it's Look for the Good in Everyone and has like this really like reggae, like, I don't know, calypso, and it's really it's heart-filled. So music is everything, Cyrus. So I hear you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Rich.
Yeah. Well, I love this question, Cyrus. So yeah, music is a huge part of my life, and I grew up, playing the clarinet and the saxophone, and so like from that perspective, music, literally reading music, playing music is embedded in my DNA. But on a regular basis, I have a SoundCloud channel, and the SoundCloud knows me really, really well. So it always suggests music to me that pretty much ends up being spot on. And it's like a blend of spiritual world, electronic, dance music. Like there's so many amazing artists out there. A friend of mine, Dave Kemp, DJ DTO, who produces this kind of music, which is awesome, very inspiring, uplifting, and it's embedded with spiritual undertones and messages, and that really lights me up. But when I'm feeling off or need a soul reset, then it's Broadway tunes for me. And like Hamilton, Not Gonna Lose My Shot is like really inspiring for me. Also from Lin-Manuel Miranda. I think I've talked about him in a couple of shows. I must have a crush on him.
Sorry, Cody.
Sorry, no, he doesn't care. So, music from In the Heights. There are songs from that show. But really, if I'm going to go back to like when I was a kid, I listened to, my mom had the records for A Chorus Line and Evita. And I played those over and over and over. And I didn't even know what the words really meant, or had never seen the shows, of course. And I know every single word to both of those shows, and all I have to hear is one note from a song, and like I go into this total recalibration mode. It just like takes me back to this place of like purity and power. And I think I'm due for listening to both of those back to back. That'll drive, and then I'll throw Hamilton in and In the Heights. Cody will not want to be home for that.
Rich, speaking of Cody, Cody made a very observant point today that Patrice and you have matching hair today.
Yes.
So,
yeah. I wanted to say, when are we going to talk about Rich's hair? Because it's fabulous. I think you look so much younger, not that you're old, but younger and more hip. I love it that it's away from your face, you know, because you have a beautiful face and it's good to show it. So,
Patrice.
Cody, good job.
Thank you. Yeah. I wish it was this color naturally. So I have to like bleach my hair and dye it to get it to look, you know, salt and pepper. So, but I have fun. It'll be blue in a couple of weeks. So it'll be changing every time you see me going forward.
Well, it's part of the show. I put on different hair all the time. So it seems like we're all just waiting for Cyrus to do something.
Cyrus, we need you a wig. We need to get you a wig.
Well, I don't have a wig, but I'm getting my hair cut again Monday. So it'll be a little shorter when you guys see me next week. How's that?
Okay. That's a start.
It was funny, Rich, when you showed the transition from, you know, your hair before and you showed like the yellow, the in between of, I guess, when it was first bleached. I was like, oh God. And then I thought, how am I going to like lie through this and say that it looks good? Like, and then it went to the neck to that. And I was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, it's a process. That's the duck butt yellow phase. And I don't know how Cody does it, but it went from duck butt yellow to this, and he's just a wizard. You know, it pays to have a master barber and stylist in your home. So, thank you, Cody.
Thanks, Cody. Well, it feels good to feel good, and especially, you know, like after this year too. I think, you know, and I keep bringing up this after this year because I've been thinking a lot about makeovers, and because people are talking about like the post-COVID makeover and physical and just, you know, kind of brushing yourself off, dusting yourself off. And I thought, you know what, maybe I should offer a post-COVID joy makeover.
Ooh,
right? Fun,
like
right? Yeah, just this whole idea of, you know, refreshing ourselves. So I love what you're doing your hair.
Do it.
Good. Wow. What else, Cyrus? You have any other songs besides that one?
Well, you know, there's a new song that was just announced yesterday that I don't know if you guys saw the announcement. Mick Jagger and David Grohl from Foo Fighters have gotten together for a post-pandemic song, a new anthem, kind of talking about the things from the past year, which is a lot of fun. And I think, you know, those kind of things, I kind of go back to like, you know, Rick Springsteen, right? I mean, like when he did The Rising after 9/11. I think, you know, the songs like that to me just, I don't know, they just make me feel good. I like feel good music.
Gives you like hope.
Anthem, kind of talking about the things.
I think that it gives
a lot of fun.
Oh, we're getting some feedback here.
Those kind of things, I kind of go.
I think it gives us it just, you know, it reconnects us back to like just ourselves and our purpose and our why, and gives us hope again. You know, that's what music has always done. And you know who's another great, like it's an anthem like that I love that gets me going is Sarah Bareilles' Brave.
Oh yeah.
That always is like a big one for me too.
Love that.
Oh, and speaking of musicals, Rich, Wicked's Defying Gravity.
Ah, yes.
That is like whoosh.
I've never seen Wicked, believe it or not.
Oh.
I know the music, but the tickets were just always unavailable or way too expensive and I lived in New York for 18 years when it was playing, you know, on Broadway, but it just never happened. I never saw Hamilton either on stage.
Did you watch the television version?
I saw that, and that was I jumped out of my skin, of course. I was like,
that's it. Not that, you know, we can't keep talking about music, but I want to dive into, you know, today's actual topic, which has been sent in from you guys. So we are going to find out in just a minute which question is waiting for us in the vault. But we want to thank Ryan for sending in, how can we learn to be truly happy with who we are, what we do, and why we do it? Sharon sent in, what has been the impact on women coping at home and in the workplace since the pandemic? And Deva wrote in, how can we listen to one another better? Ooh, some good stuff that came in this week.
Yeah.
So why don't we find out what is waiting in the heart to heart vault for us? So Tracy, ooh, what has been the impact on women working from home and the workplace since the pandemic? Wow, great image.
Yeah.
This was a question I was like, ooh. Is there anybody that's dying to jump in on this? Please take it away.
You know, strangely enough, I wouldn't mind chiming in on this. I've been on the radio show, been talking to a lot of women entrepreneurs and new entrepreneurs who found themselves in weird situations where, ironically, for the ones who were married or had a spouse or, in the home that may also be in the home with them, they found it as an opportunity for them to be able to pursue something else because they had their spouse there. But for those who were single mothers, some of them actually were able to still find a way to, be able to go after their passion. I talked to one who ended up turning a business in 10 months into a 6-figure business from her home during the pandemic while she's raising her kids. But the way she was able to do it was almost to make the kids part of her program. So I think what she was able to do was connect with other moms who were also feeling lonely and feeling, kind of separated, and creating this online community where they could all get together, encourage one another, check in with one another. I know not everyone has that. I'm always the glass half full guy. But I mean, I did find that encouraging that even though there were so many who found challenges, that even in the challenges, some of them were able to find opportunities that have still stayed with them.
Yeah. Does anybody else, Patrice or Rich, want to chime in?
Yeah, I think, in a lot of situations, there's a disproportionate impact, negative impact on women, right? And the pandemic had that effect as well. There've been a lot of stories about the she session, right? A lot of women have dropped out of the workforce, and there's a lot of stories about how this is going to set back pay equity even further, because right now I think women earn 82 cents for every dollar that a man earns. So they're dropping out of the workforce. When they get back in again, probably going to be at a lower, at a lower pay, which then means there's going to be a greater disparity between what men make and what women make. And a lot of the women that I know who were able to keep working during the recession or during the pandemic because they remained at home were like working 3 times harder because they had to be there to help their children, on Zoom if they were able to do remote learning. But, that's a lot of time and energy. And of course, taking care of their children before and after school. And then, I don't know, it seemed really pretty grueling. And, this has been going on for some time. So I really feel for women, and part of me feels like, once again, we bear the brunt of things that impact everyone that seem to more severely impact women. So
yeah, I'm with you on that, Patrice. And I love to see the positive in everything too, but I just know way too many women that were really struggling, moms that were really struggling during this time, even with spouses, because they felt like, and I don't know if it's just the fact that that's the role of the mother, the nurturer, but the fathers were continuing their work, and the women had to continue their role, but also take care of the kids. And while the kids were in school and trying to balance all of that, I was helping out my neighbor with her son, because she's a teacher as well. So she was trying to, teach her kids, teach her students from home, but also had her son who had to be in school on Zoom, and she couldn't balance all of that. And so she was desperate for that and needed to get assistance, but not everybody's able to get that assistance. So it was just a really hard time that I watched women that had to leave their careers to take care of their kids because they couldn't afford childcare. They couldn't afford, during that time. So it's been a really hard time. And at the same thing as what you said, Cyrus, there are people that absolutely thrived, that realize that this is not what they want to be doing with their lives, that, they did transition careers and stuff. But again, I think with anything, it depends on the kind of support that you have in your life and who you can turn to and who shows up for you.
So true. It's a good point. It's a good point.
Yeah, I would echo the same experience. In my world, women are the dominant gender that I either work with as clients or that I'm surrounded with as fellow business owners. And I saw kind of the two sides of the coin that you've all talked about, with women now having one more or many more jobs to do if they have kids and the kids had to be home. And that made it really, really hard for them to manage. And moms already have enough to do, let alone now being a teacher and dealing with, with keeping a family safe and healthy, from protected from COVID and everything else. So I definitely saw that. And then there's what we really haven't talked about yet is all the single women who have been home, who may, single moms, who and women in general. There's so many people who have been just isolated across the age spectrum. My mom, of course, being one of them. And I know that has a mental toll, a physical toll to be separated, especially those women who have grandkids who couldn't see their grandkids, right? And we've all experienced this, but I feel like women maybe. It's hard to say because we don't get to talk about men's feelings so much, right? But maybe women, I don't know if it was harder for them than single men with kids at home. I'm not sure, but across the board, I know a lot of people have been suffering with isolation, depression. We talked in the previous episode about suicide rates are up and alcoholism rates are up due to the effects of the pandemic. And then there's the other part of my world, which is women who have already started their own businesses or launched new businesses, who took the opportunity of the pandemic and all the changes to decide, you know what, I don't want to go back to work, or I am going to finally launch this project that I have, and who went that route. And one of the groups that I'm in, it's predominantly women. And the fascinating thing is these are not 20 or 30 something year old women. They are 60, 70, even some 80-year-old women who are on Zoom in these mastermind coaching programs with me that I participate in from around the world, who are learning how to launch an online business and to share with the world what, their wisdom and their knowledge. And I'm sitting here saying, I have no excuses. That lady's 70 years old and she's doing the thing. She's teaching workshops. She's having clients. What? It's amazing, really inspiring. And I've learned from those women, I just have no excuses. If they're doing this at this stage in their lives, then there's no reason why I can't do what I want to do in the world. So it's a whole spectrum of people's experiences. So that's what I'm seeing.
Do you think from a male perspective, I'm just curious, do you think more women or men transitioned into new careers during the pandemic, or went after their dreams? I don't know if I know you don't know for sure, but just your thoughts and opinions on that.
Well, anecdotally, just from what I've seen over the last year, and again in these mastermind type environments, I would say 90% women. And it's the women who are stepping up for personal development and who are stepping up for transformational work, which is not new at all. But I really see, it seems like they were even more going that route, and deciding, you know what, I'm gonna do my own thing. I'm not gonna go back into the corporate structure, and get locked into and lost in that structure, which is not friendly towards women, period. 100%. So yeah, I think I would say, just based on my observations and the people in my world, it's definitely more women who are not settling for environments that just don't work for them, and who are looking at this as an opportunity to chart their own course and to make a mark on the world. So hats off to them.
Rich, I think this whole pandemic has given everyone permission and created, the opportunity for a reset. And it's exciting because, like you, I heard of a lot of people that are doing things that they never thought they would, or, like I had to write a blurb for a friend's book, and he wrote it during the pandemic. I guess he had been thinking about it for a while, so he finally did it, and it's being published. So I wrote a blurb for him on that. And someone who is in your class, Rich, in your, what is the name of it? Being comfortable on video or something?
Oh, Camera Confidence 101.
Camera Confidence, yes. She said it was great. And so now she's going to be producing a series of videos to do, at-home fitness, at-home yoga. So, and she's very excited that, because of your workshop, your virtual workshop, she's going to finally do it. So it's really cool. And she's my actual virtual fitness trainer. She lives in Richmond, and I always wanted to train with her, but, and now I can, because we do it via Zoom. It's all good.
I'm going to throw out something that might be completely, I don't know what it'll be completely, but I'm wondering, and I'm just going to leave this out there, if women have an easier time, and I don't want to say easy, but are more open to transition and change, because this day and age, we often hear, men are the stability ones, the security, and they take care of the family, but there's so much like divorce, and there's so much women, I feel like we're told now too that you better be independent, and you better, like be ready to, do your own thing. And I just wonder if we're just more malleable, like to, be ready for that big change, whereas men may be more, what's the word? They just stay where they're at.
Yeah. Sherry, it's so funny you said that, because when Rich was talking, I thought about the guys that I hear from who've been saying what they want to do, but they're like, but I got to find something steady for my family. I got to do. So so exactly what you're saying, I am hearing that in my circles, more from men saying, I got to, I'll support her in doing her, but a lot of them feel like in their minds, they have to have something steady to say that they are providing and being that stabilizing force in the family.
Yeah, I think no matter how much we advance, I think these roles still stay within us, and down the generations, like this is the role of the man. But women, because we've been in a way for such a long time, but we're also told no, and know that we can do anything. We kind of are feeling the mix of the two, just in case. I don't want to say just in case we get divorced, but or just in case, we're taking care of a family on our own, or just whatever,
Yeah.
Good point.
Curious. So for women, so so thank you for sending in that question. And women in the workforce and the pandemic, we know and we recognize and acknowledge that it's been a challenging time, not just for women, for everybody. But I definitely think that, we had some big things to really do, and big shoes to fill, both as the teacher, as the mom, as sometimes the wife, as all of that. So just hats off to all of you ladies. you men here, because we love you anyway. Anyway, like your side note. But hats off to all the ladies out there, you know, who really dug their heels in and had to show up in all ways, not only for their kids and their jobs, but also themselves, tried to squeeze themselves in there too. So thank you for sending in that question. And as always, thank you for joining us for this edition of Heart to Heart. Always great to see you, Rich, Cyrus, Patrice, and Tracy. Make sure to join us next Wednesday. And if you have a question that you want us to have a heart-to-heart about, check out the link in the comments. There's a submission form there, so you can send that in. And remember to take care of your heart and one another's. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.